For now, I try to record this video with English language, and because my English so terrible, much more terrible than Russian, I apologize for that. And this is my first quadruped rig, and I integrate this rig on ACS2 auto character setup by Lucas Pazera, and this is interesting way to create some custom rigging system with ACS, fully integrated with some guides, of course. And next step, I wanted to try rig another character, another creature. I think it's some dinosaurs maybe, or giraffe, or horse. It doesn't matter. So this rig is quietly simply just IK system for every leg, and I create this spine with simply IK. These goals, and I can grab them separately and create some spine pose, maybe like this, and altars controlled by this handle. So I grab the base head rig and neck rig from base rig ACS by Lucas Pazera, and very interesting feature to targeting. I like this targeting for dog, maybe because dog target to this point, and this looks much more naturally. Okay, what about legs? I create simply inverse leg control, so I can turn off fingers, and heel, I control heel with IK. Okay, maybe like this. I can put to the tip, put this palm to the tip, to heel, and I can control this palm from this one, and I try to create some pose. I have oriented for knee, maybe a little bit, and I can separately clavicle, and I can move clavicle around. It's much more natural, I think, I believe. So, and for tail, I have procedural system. I think I jump to animate layout, and if I procedural blend, so the tail is animated procedurally by expression. This feature I create for tentacles, but this part of tentacle I grab to another rig as long tongue, and why not? This looks like tail, and I create tail from tentacle. Okay, I can animate this blending. I can create another setting from this. Maybe one is a little bit, and two, maybe higher, and four. Okay, and face maybe 10. What's happened? Okay, and maybe with Y value about 5. What's happened now? It's 5 with diagonal amplitude. Okay, and turn off. I can blend between manual controllers, like this procedural is staying, and manually animate by these handles, these control handles. Okay, and I have some try to stand in some position. No, this one. I must grab this one, and maybe like for here and here, and put this leg here, and here. Okay, well, okay, and I have fully integrated selection sets for segments, like pros, eyes, and face controls include jaw and left back leg FK, IK controls, select this separately, mouth controls included tongue, every leg, and if I click shift I can right leg FK and IK controllers select, and spine FK, spine IK controls, and tail. So this one move brow size I create for select, it's helped me to create facial poses. So try to add some poses. This facial poses, and I have bounce with nails spreading in, spreading out, and for face I can close right eye and click control, hold control and drop to the left eye. I can open, eyes extra open, eyes neutral. Well, and for right now I create some for ears. I can separately grab poses, and maybe mouth open. Oh, it's not, it's something wrong. So try to create some evil face, ugly dog. Well, face angry for this dog, and maybe eyes like here. So this dog are ugly for right now. I think it's very much more interesting, and it's important for create emotions much more expressible, maybe for player to look for dog barking around him and scare him. So I think he must look from down to, oh, it's, this control is much controlled by, not by inward selection. Looks like this. Well, maybe I turn him like this, and maybe like this and like this. So it's interesting. Okay, like S curve pose. And of course I can create fingers, show fingers controls, and of course I can use library for back nails spreading in, maybe. This is for right and this is for left, spreading out, and maybe so this spreading in left fingers and spreading out like this. It's much more interesting when fingers and nails is moving, when dog is put the leg to the ground, it's spreading, and when leg is in air is spreading, and when leg pushed to the ground is spreading out. The fingers is spreading out. So this one looks wrong. Maybe a little bit in this way. Okay, and I can a little bit put tail in this position. Well, and still animating. And I have some poles for animation. Of course, I can save this to library, all controllers to library, and what I have in this rig, I can open mouth a little bit. What I have in this rig inside. As I show, I have a guided system, like on basic rig, auto character setup basic rig by Lucas Pazera. It's amazing, impressive rig with lot of features. I really like this rig, and I really like matching on IK/FK controllers. It's very completely controllable and usable rigging system. I really like it. But here I have only one chain of controllers. This is skeleton, and this one is root controller. So I have some joints from basic rig. I don't know how to use this all stuff. I just create a custom rig, but all over things from base spine, it's still here. I don't know how to create a base from zero. I don't know how to create all this stuff from zero. That's why I use a base controller from root bone, from root chain, from basic rig, and I still in here the head and neck, but I think it's for the long neck. It's must much more bones and some another control system to create a long neck like dinosaurs, dinosaurs like brachiosaur, or maybe giraffe. So the controller system is really simple, and maybe I try to show something inside. What's happened inside? Schematic. So this is basic rig segments like eye control, jaw, neck, head, and torso. All another controllers and other segments as leg, hand, fingers, biped fingers. I just delete these segments and create simply segments like fingers, right back fingers, right front fingers, and right back leg, right front leg, and left front leg. And I create one leg and save it to assembly, put it back to the scene and load it, drop it back to the scene and rename and create some mirroring system. This what's happened here? Here I have left leg. This is IK controllers, and this is FK chain. It's controllable by IK. This one is knee orient controller. Well, and settings here, and all this stuff is put to output sub-assembly channels, and when I duplicate this leg to the left side, I have input channels to all this channel for edit items. These edit items in guided mode. This is guided, this one is guided, this one is edit. Okay, this one is edit. We see all them on the scene, and guided is hidden from us, and this is controls. Well, and this is bones, joints. Not much here. Okay. Well, and input channels drop to edit world position, transform, translate matrix, and rotate matrix. And here is stay notice. I don't delete this. I can delete this for right now. This one work only on right side, and this is for left side already mirrored. This for mirror X position and rotation. What's happened here? If I start to change position is mirrored already. Okay, and all and fingers of course mirrored too. All finger is separately in sub-assembly, and I have simply brick here. This node is for mirroring, edit, direction, orientation inside edit, controls, and bones. Fingers is only on FK control. Okay, and clavicle for right side and for left. The tail. This is tail. It's just 10 controllers, 10 joints, and I have expression in subassembly, and output this to pre-rotation. I can rotate and change position and change rotation of a basic position and rotation channels, but I have here a pre-rotation stack of channels for rotation, and I put the metrics from expression. What's happened in expression? It's providing settings channel to expression node. Inside expression node I have expression for every controller, and I create a blend matrix to grab basic rotation channels, blend them with procedural expressions for X, Y, and Z expression channels node, and blend them with blending and output. And all this iterated for every controller on this system. So I have a problem with connect one segment to another, and I don't understand how it's happened exactly on this Lucas-Pazera variation, but I try to create something like this. I have fingers master control. It's in here for fingers, and I have folders inside a rigging folder, and inside these folders I have guided and controllers on plug space folders, and one segment to another connected from this system. to provide from some element item one segment to master or plug element item, and provide world position and world rotation to folders for guided and for controllers elements. And in some situation I drop to scene my saved assembly, and I can to I called not to connect this dropped assembly to another segment. I lost orientation on space, and it's okay on edit. In edit mode it's okay for guided, but controllers is put to another position, and I think it's something happened on setup mode. And on these channels, if I select this folder on channels, I have no positions here, and rotations. Here I have position, and position channels is sourced by setup, and for sometimes is edit or scene, and if I change this to setup rest value or remove setup value, I change some status of channel, and I have different results. As I see all normal on setup mode, okay, on setup mode, but on scene is moving, the segment is moving to another position, and I try to reconnect controllers with guided for 0 rest value, 0 position, 0 rotation values, and it's not work. On some situation it's work, on some not, and I still not search various problem how to create some pipeline and and solve this problem. Okay, I have some test animation here, walk test, and first iteration of this rig I create 3 bones IK chain, and I have not naturally movement of heel, and I just create goal, another goal elements is hiding here, and put this to heel, and provide position from this control element to have rotation of heel, and it's much more controllable. Well, and animation looks like this. Well, dog is walking, it's walking cycle, and you can see animation of fingers here. I think it's much more interesting. It's looks like realistic interactivity legs with ground. I see the leg is put to the ground and fingers is iterated with ground. Okay. And of course, because this rig is fully integrated on ACS, I have no matching, key matching, because it's only simple chain of controllers. But I can create actions library, pose library. I can use mirroring, pose mirroring for any segment. I can select segment like years. So select segment, and ears segment is selected, both ears. I can use selection sets, as I showed before. Well, it's why not? I just drop the dog here. It's just 1K. The tone controllers have keys in other positions. Okay, I just playing with it. I can delete this animation without saving. Okay, and I still have pose where I built before. This all about my first experience with create a quadruped rig. And of course it's just start, because I want to create spine with spline with curve control, control it by curve, and maybe create chains for IKFK and create matching feature. It's much more greater. And with this rig I can extend to maybe Centaur character, or maybe Pegasus with wings. I create wings segment, and this can fly. It's really interesting. And of course you can create any custom rig and integrate it to ACS toolset pipeline toolset features. I think it's great and very interesting, and there's still to explore all this space of possibilities for better animation with Modo. I really like to animate in Modo. I think it's great tool set for animation, and it's really great that we have so cool tool set like ACS2. And another thing, I look to Facebook page by Lucas Pazera. It's about ACS2 on Facebook, and I saw he is working on ACS for right now. He writes some new lines of code, and I believe he is create some another cool features for ACS. It's really cool and inspired and motivated for work with ACS. I think it's not the end for ACS, and I believe it's grow for something interesting. We see a lot of new features and okay. And another feature I wanted to integrate in rig is automatically rotatable extra deformation on the knees, hips, elbows and shoulders. I already have this extra deformation controllers on this rig. Well, I can create some FK position of this arm, and if I bend arm, you can see it's half. This controller on other side of elbow is half rotate on this angle. Well, if I try to on another position is broke, but on this natural rotation it still work. It's good. And on knee the same situation. Oh, it's okay. I turn off IK and simply rotate like, oh, it's not. I just put the hips to some extra position, and you can see the orientation of extra deformers. It's good. I think it's good orientation for this, and I have here some control to blend. This is not with auto rotation, and this is auto rotation. I use a channel relationship for that. This node relationship, and on graph editor I create two K for start position and end position, where we have there is must happen on what angles it must be happen, and where angles not, and what value this will be. It looks like set driving key on Maya, set driving key tool, but it's not work like in Maya, this tool. And I try to create some situation for shoulder, but shoulder have much more freedom on rotation angles, and I have here strange situation because I have orientation of root extra deformer controllers with these angles and a shoulder with these angles, and it's strange situation when I must this one when I put it on and start to rotate. I have gimbal lock. It's typical situation for gimbal lock, and it's broken. It's completely broken because you see gimbal lock is broken orientation, and it's not work correctly. And thinking about right now, I'm thinking about how to solve this situation. I have this strange situation where I must provide Y channel to X and X to Y channel, and I can't to reorientate this on this tractor because I have already a lot of skin meshes and a lot of animation, and it's meaning I must rebuild all stuff when I create before. It's impossible for it now, and maybe for next chapters I solve this situation with how to rotate shoulders and hips. But for right now it's work only for elbows and knees, because it's only one channel, one X channel must work with this. Okay, it's some things about extend ACS rig. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.